For every fan theory The Last Jedi Force choked into oblivion, it seems like 2 new questions pop up in their place. New details and references hidden in the movie are still emerging, and some of them may have more meaning than you realize. Here are some of the crazy references you missed in The Last Jedi. Spoilers ahead. Blaster damage. In Return of the Jedi, Luke got smacked by a blaster bolt while he was trying to escape Jabba's boat over the Sarlacc pit. Luckily, that laser landed on Luke's fake hand, and Luke went right back to almost kicking the bad guys into the sand. In The Last Jedi, old grumpy Luke is still one hand down, but if you look closely, especially at the part where Rey hands him his old lightsaber, you can see faint scorch marks on the back of his hand, a reminder of young Skywalker's glory days. No hand Luke. Speaking of Luke's fake hand, director Rian Johnson himself pointed out an inconsistency that may reveal more for the future of the franchise. After force projecting himself to Crait to deal with Kylo Ren, Luke vanishes from his rock, by all accounts becoming one with the Force. However, there was one detail missing from that scene. As Johnson put it, "We were in the other room saying, a steel hand should clunk to the ground." Since Luke's prosthetic hand wasn't actually a part of him, it should have been left behind, just like his Jedi robe. Does that mean there's more to Luke's story? Probably not, but you can bet it will spark a new round of theories before the next movie. Canine cameo. There was a lot going on during the Canto Bite scenes, so you probably missed one particular cameo, Carrie Fisher's dog, Gary. Well, even if you saw the alien dog on screen, you may not have recognized it as anything special, because for one, it was just a dog, and for two, it was only on screen for a second. According to the dog's official Twitter account, one of the aliens in the casino was holding a dog based on Fisher's own canine. Did it mean anything to the story? Nope. But it was a nice nod to the late Star Wars legend and a cool source of inspiration, if nothing else. Hidden knowledge. One of the big moments in The Last Jedi came when Yoda Force called a lightning bolt down to scorch the sacred tree holding all those ancient Jedi books. Well, as usual, Yoda had the last laugh.
Take it to him, alien.
At the end of the film, Finn opens a drawer in the Millennium Falcon holding all the Jedi texts from the sacred tree. It gives a lot more meaning to Yoda's final line to Luke. That library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess. It was a blink and you'll miss it moment, but rest assured that the Jedi wisdom is safe and secure for a new generation of Force users. Costume secrets. Although the film never draws attention to them, the production team on The Last Jedi put a ton of detail into the characters' costumes. For example, Vice Admiral Holdo's bracelets are a map of the constellations seen from her homeworld. It's a crazy detail that nobody would ever notice. And it's just the beginning. Poe Dameron wears a necklace that's usually covered up by the collar of his jacket, but a few scenes show the chain around his neck. What they don't show you is a ring looped into the chain, which is his deceased mother's wedding ring. Similarly, Rose sports a secret ring of her own. When Rose and Finn are on Canto Bite, there's a quick moment where Rose flashes a resistance symbol on her ring. As it turns out, that's an antique left over from the Galactic Civil War, when they were worn by Imperial senators who would flash the secret symbol to other rebels to prove their allegiance. Dwartii glyphs. Supreme Leader Snoke has come and gone, with no new clues to his origins. Well, except for one, which honestly kind of lends some credence to all those Snoke is Darth Plagueis theories. For those who don't know, Darth Plagueis was the master of Darth Sidious, until Sidious struck down Plagueis during his rise to power. You can only see it clearly in 2 or 3 shots, but Snoke was wearing a ring in The Last Jedi located on his left hand. It had a gold base with a black stone rising out of it. According to The Last Jedi, the visual dictionary, the gold section is inscribed with glyphs of the Dwartii. Dwartii is a planet that was home to the sages of Dwartii, 4 mysterious philosophers who are apparently revered by the Sith, judging by the statues of them in Palpatine's office in Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. The novel Darth Plagueis also suggests that one of the statues belonged to Plagueis. It isn't exactly a strong connection to Snoke, but the markings on Snoke's rings are literally one of the handful of times Dwartii have shown up in Star Wars. While it's doubtful that Snoke really is Darth Plagueis, the ring suggests there may still be some connection between the two. Praetorian symmetry. Like a lot of the other characters in The Last Jedi, Snoke's personal bodyguards, the Praetorian Guard, were introduced, then killed off without much explanation. Fortunately, these faceless Red Warriors made the most of their time on screen, and gave audiences one of the best fights of the franchise. Amidst all the action, you may have missed a particular detail about the Praetorian Guards. Although there are 8 of them, they're organized into 4 pairs, with each pair armed with identical weapons. The visual dictionary explains that this was done to emphasize the symmetry of the First Order philosophy. What is past is future. Name check. If you missed Joseph Gordon-Levitt's cameo in The Last Jedi, you aren't alone. Nobody ever said his character's name during the movie. In short, he voiced the alien on Canto Bight who led the police to Finn and Rose, and his name was Slow and Low. That name is part of an ongoing joke from the filmmakers to give certain characters names pulled from Beastie Boys songs, of all things. Slow and Low comes from the song Slow and Low. The Force Awakens has LOSD from the song Hello Nasty, Roo Down from Root Down, and Brass Monkey from Brass Monkey. Have the Star Wars writers finally run out of ideas for names? Not even close. That happened way back when Salacious B. Crumb showed up. Prime Jedi. If you've ever wondered who the first Jedi was, you're not alone, and The Last Jedi may have an answer. On the floor of the Jedi Temple on Luke's Island is a mosaic of the Prime Jedi, the first guy to be part of the Jedi Order. It shows up in several scenes during the movie, most clearly when Luke is telling Rey his first abridged version of the "we need to talk about Kylo" story. So who is the Prime Jedi? Does he have a name? Unfortunately, the movie doesn't have any explanations there. Don't join. Benicio del Toro's character DJ is definitely an enigma. He showed up, got Finn and Rose onto Snoke's ship, then sold out the Resistance and skipped out all the richer for it. But for those paying close attention, his moral ambiguity was practically written on his forehead from the beginning. You may have caught the metal plate on the right side of DJ's headgear, but unless you pause the movie in the theaters, you probably miss the inscription on it. Don't join. Yep, that's what he told Finn, and it's DJ's whole philosophy, up to and including his name DJ, aka Don't Join. Crusader Crystal. Near the beginning of the movie, the camera moves through Luke's hut and rests on a few of his belongings. Some fans were quick to notice that a necklace hanging in the hut seemed to contain a red kyber crystal, the crystal used to power lightsabers. Turns out that's exactly what it is, but the story doesn't end there. Going back to the film's visual dictionary, it's described as a fragmented Sith lightsaber crystal, but the necklace itself is a Jedi Crusader pendant. The Jedi Crusaders were first mentioned in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. They were also known as the Revan Kiss, named after their leader, Revan, a Jedi who succumbed to the dark side and became Darth Revan. That's significant because Knights of the Old Republic was purged from the official canon. Although there have been hints that the game was creeping its way back into canon, this may be the biggest indicator of that yet. Does this tiny detail in The Last Jedi reinstate Revan as a canonical character? Fans can only hope. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.